Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawkes here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Hello everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the bell icon so you may have any time we put new content on. As always, I'd like to thank our lovely channel sponsors. There they are, Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. We have another episode of Outside the Bubble. We've had quite a few requests to get these episodes again, because it's nice, isn't it? It just gets us outside of the West Ham bubble, hence the name. Social bubbles. It's all. I thought it's all out. And today we've got a really interesting one, because there's some teams you have this irrational hatred for, and for some reason that we have this rivalry which makes no sense geographically at all. It's Reading. It's Reading. So I'm going to bring in Alex. Who's got a good mic as well, so yeah, be good audio for you people who are listening on the podcast. Be good audio today. So let's bring in Al. There he is. How you doing, big man? You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks, man. Yeah, pleasure to be on the show. Yeah, bit of a strange one, this rivalry. I couldn't tell you why Reading hate West Ham, to be honest, but as a Reading fan, we don't have many rivals, so it's nice. It's nice. I'm clinging on to it. Yeah,
I suppose you're sort of in the middle of sort of that corridor, isn't it? So it's just like, yeah. Slough haven't got a team.
We cling on to Swindon. There's like this one chant that goes, it's like, we hate the Swindon, and I'm like there going, I can't remember the last time we played Swindon, but if it's a chant, mate, I'll sing along.
Exactly. How are you, man? How you been?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Yeah, honestly, getting good now. Life's getting back to normal a bit more. Go to pubs, watching some football. I went to the playoff final the other day, so that was nice to get a bit more normality back into life.
Which one? There's three of them.
Yeah, Brentford, Swansea.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, the big one.
The big one. I'm glad Brentford are back, because it's back. I'm glad Brentford are there, to be honest, because they've got such a good team, and just the recruitment, isn't it? Fantastic recruitment.
Oh, yeah. Think what they'll do if they get all that money.
Well, just that as well. Exactly. I mean, the last 2 years of transfer. So obviously Malpai went, and then they brought in Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins went. They got Ivan Toney, and it's like
the production line. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's absolutely crazy. But they do it all on statistics, don't they? Like the guy, like the guy's he's a Danish guy, isn't he? He's used it from his across, and
he owns FC Midfield, I think, as well. So I don't know if you've ever seen the film Moneyball, but it's kind of that. They just kind of use stats and let them lead the choice of players, which worked wonders. Clearly,
works, isn't it?
Gems like that, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and people like to say, "Oh, yeah, obviously we won't get him now," but people look at us getting Ivan Toney, and he was like, "I don't want Ivan Toney. I want the guy Brentford are going to buy to replace Ivan Toney, because it's going to cost you bugger all, and he's going to actually, triple, quadruple your money." So, but no, it's good, man. I'm glad to see him. And obviously Winston Reid got on there, keeping that FC with Michail, because obviously he used to play for Michail before he came to West Ham. So, it's that Danish.
I saw him on the bench when they're reading the team sheets out, and I was like, Winston Reid. I didn't realise he was at Brentford. Is he on loan?
Yeah, he's on loan. He obviously was at Sporting Kansas, weren't he, for a bit? And and he came back, and I think what's his name? What's the big lad? Pontus Jansson,
yeah.
Pontus Jansson. He got injured, and so they got Winston Reid in to cover for a few games. Did a good job, apparently. Then when Pontus came back, he was like, right, that's it. The main man's back in. So, but good luck to him. It's good, and he's had a couple of championship playoff medals now. So, it's all good, man. How's Reading done this season? I'll be perfectly honest. I haven't kept. Although I like a couple of your players, I do like. A couple of youngsters are quite good.
That's the annoying thing, mate. We've kind of got players like you say, Michail Antonio. I bet that's the first one that's springing to mind. Yeah, Michail Antonio. Players like that who they led us to the top of the league. At one point we were 9 points clear at the top of the league, like very early doors. And all the XG fans will basically look at the table and go, Reading were nowhere. They shouldn't have deserved to be at the top. Basically, because we were like outperforming our XG, and that did prove to be true over the course of the season. We just disappeared, and like near the end, we were one of those awkward ones where it was like, I just want to be fighting for something, and then near the end, we just were like 3-4 games, just nothing to play for, which is never what you want.
No, it's awful, isn't it? I mean, to be honest, even this for us, this season's probably the first season I can remember for a long time where it's actually there's something to play for up till the last game of the season. Usually we might be safe with a few games left or, mid-table obscurity, but we actually had something to play for, which was quite exciting. Quite exciting,
mate. I bet you're more than excited.
Yeah, a bit weird. I mean, I've been working at the club for this season was my 20th season there.
Wow.
And obviously I've been there since for the whole of lockdown, so whenever I went to every game, so I've seen all the home games the last, this season and last season. And I reckon it's the most optimistic that I've, it's not just the team on the pitch, it's the team at the back, it's the fans, and it's great, and hopefully, when this comes out, Mr. Moyes has signed his 3-year contract. He says, fingers crossed, I believe it's all signed and dusted, but we'll see. Now Everton might need a manager. I'm getting a little bit worried, but
I hadn't crossed my mind, to be honest. I thought like Nuno would be nailed on for that, but
you must be worried. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. No, it's a project. It's a project. He wants to build a new Everton, so that's why. So I'm more than happy. No, it's been a great season. Yeah, it's a great season. Obviously, the Euros to look forward to now. So, to be honest, I could do without the Euros now and just start the season now. I want to see this or the start of the season to start again.
Wish it away, mate. The Euros is nothing better. The whole country coming together to support.
Yeah, I'm really bad when it comes to Euros. I'll be honest. I am like during England are playing tomorrow or whatever, and I don't watch any of them games, any of the League of Nations, Nations League, not League of Nations, Christ,
League of Nations, that's epic.
That's a completely different thing. The Nations League, I don't watch any of that, but as soon as they get into a tournament, I'm like such a turncoat. I'll be there, face paint, watching every game, but I don't give a shit until the World Cup. It's really weird. But, no, at least we've got Declan. Although we haven't got. I mean, technically, Jesse's not in. He's not one of our players now, but Dec's in. So it'll be good. And there's a few Czech boys there, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Man. It's going to be fun, man. But and also, other stuff. Podcast, travel talks with Saunders.
Yeah, mate,
it's going well, man.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Like that was born out of lockdown. Looking for something to get my teeth stuck into. I'm sure everyone listening will relate, but you kind of don't realize how much free time you've got when you don't have to commute, and all your social activities are taken away from you. Like, shit, what do I use this time for? So I wanted to be a bit productive, so use that as a project. And got Saunders on board, which is amazing. Like a really big name to kind of give the podcast a boost, and it's gone from strength to strength. So hopefully outside of lockdown, it will keep continuing.
Same as me. Started this during lockdown for the same reason.
Yeah, man.
Just because I couldn't face another night of watching Australian reality TV shows on Netflix. Married at first sight. I have no idea what it means. But I just thought, bugger it. So at least every day, I toddle down here for an hour and just talk about football, talk about West Ham. So it's not too bad, man. But a lot of people don't know, obviously, Alex. Your day, in terms of your actual job, at Sky. So obviously, that must have been, throughout obviously the whole of lockdown, you're still obviously producing content and stuff. It must have been unusual.
Oh
unusual.
Yeah, it was tough at the start, where especially when you're robbed from football. You can kind of make do when it's everything's online, and all the interviews that we were doing face to face have been moved over to Zoom. That's not so much of an issue, but when all football was taken away from you, you're like, shit, how do we make content about nothing? So we were doing a lot of archive content and throwing it back, but obviously when there's no context to link it to, because usually what you'll see is that someone will score an overhead kick and we'll produce a comp of best overhead kicks in Premier League history, and there's the context, there's a tie-in. But when there's no link, it's like, right, remember this game that happened 7 years ago under no context to anything that's happening right now? And then obviously the link's not there, the views suffer. So, but when the Premier League returned, it kind of got a bit more normal. But we made do, and I'm proud of our team and what we've managed to kind of produce, and the numbers are brilliant. So it's gone quite well.
We had that sort of barrage, didn't we? So we had complete famine, 100 days of no Premier League football, and then it's like, right, okay, no, you're just going to get all the Premier League football now, and it's like, for me, my best job, the thing I loved doing most was finding guess the channel, because because you never necessarily knew what channel. So it's like, okay, what game is this? Sky? Okay, well, 9 times out of 10, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe not Sky. BT Sport. Okay, BT Sport. Okay, okay. It's not there. Amazon Prime. And then
it was everywhere.
curveball BBC. Like, what was going on? Like, unless I don't know, Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace on BBC. He's like, what? Where's that going on? No, it's good fun. I did enjoy it. It'd be interesting to see what's going to happen when everyone goes back. With the fans go back properly, and how that impacts the schedule. Because a lot of people, I think, have got used to watching the games. Any game without having to worry about getting to the ground, buying the popcorn, all that type of stuff. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens next season. But yeah, it's going to be good. And a European tour for the Hammers. So that's great.
Mate, buzzing.
buzzing. I'm looking forward to, I don't know, because we're not seeded. Because we haven't got a very good coefficient. Our team isn't a very good coefficient score.
Are you going to have to go through that mad qualification process?
No, we don't have to qualify.
No.
We don't have to qualify. We're straight into the group stages. We don't have to get done by, I don't know, Romanian pub team.
Yeah, who was it last time?
Astragugu. But they got relegated. They did get relegated this season. Yeah, but they lost. But frustrating. We were a bit worried because they got to the Romanian Cup final. And we think,
no.
You could just see, but they got relegated and they lost the final, thank God. But no, we're straight in the group stages. So that's good. So it's guaranteed like 6 games. So, and we'll guarantee to be playing a relatively big team. So whether it is, could be Lazio, Napoli, could be Marseille, the return of Payet, Real Betis, the return of Pellegrini. It could be nice. all the stories.
So many narratives.
I know, I love it, man. It's brilliant. And no, I just think it's really cool. And obviously, part and parcel of working for Sky is, you interact with a lot of West Ham boys as well, isn't it? So, you work with a lot of West Ham, and obviously they're all, and I know you can't be biased, but, someone like Declan Rice, I think for a guy like yourself, is probably an absolute dream to work with compared to other players, in my humble opinion.
Oh, of course. Declan's class. I worked with Declan like twice, I think, maybe 3 times, but yeah, twice that springs to mind. And he's an absolute dream. Like, he completely gets it, and I think that's the thing that comes with this generation of footballers. You look at Declan Rice, Mason Mount, James Maddison, this kind of new breed of footballer. I would say it's probably born out of like them being fans of YouTube content. Yeah, because if you look at them, like, I'm 25, they're like 21, and I think I was raised on YouTube content, so like they were properly raised. Like, if you think of like YouTubers like KSI, even like today, people like Chunks, these massive names in the YouTube scene, they are legitimately fans of their content. So when we go down and film content and say to them, oh, this is going out on YouTube, it's not lost on them in any way, the magnitude of how big that content can be. Whereas if you go to, let's say, 5 years ago, and YouTube's not a massive thing, and you go to an elder player back then and say, oh, it's going on YouTube, it's very much, okay, this isn't going to go anywhere. What's this? But yeah, someone like Declan just gets it. And we did a feature called Who Am I with him and Mark Noble. Good laugh, where we'd read out clues about a West Ham teammate, and they'd have to buzz in and tell us who the teammate was, and they'd get points and stuff. And they both just properly got on board, and it was class, and it's done like a million views. But yeah, I actually worked with Declan Rice when he was in the academy as well. It was weird. We went down with the FT freestylers and did this like, just did a classic FT freestylers video, and it was Declan Rice and Domingos Quina, and they brought him out, and Quina was very much heralded as like the talented, like wonder kid, and Declan was the captain of the academy, but he was a centre half, and they brought him out. It was like, oh, he's a centre back, but he's got a bit, and we were like, okay, all right, this is centre back. Hopefully, obviously the F2 is very much like flicks, tricks, volleys, shots, all this kind of stuff. You're like, oh, we got a centre back. You have to do a million takes before we get. And he was honestly pinging balls around. You're like, this kid's not a centre half. Yeah, he's like getting balls chucked in by like Billy Wingrove and Jez, and he's just volleying them first time. Like, we recreated the Canio's volley, and he just pulled it out the bag like second goal or something. And we're like, geez, this kid is special. He is. He's a special player. He's as I said. I remember seeing him, as you said, the under 23s. He was head and shoulders above everyone, not necessarily on a skill level, but on a leadership level. And he's such a rare commodity to have a youngster who has that sort of John Terry type leadership talent. He's such an unusual. And talking to a lot of ex-pros, they say, that's the thing that you don't get the real leaders now, and he really is. And obviously it's Pellegrini who put him into sort of CDM role, and
he's not even a CDM now. I'd say he's a more box to box player, but he's a top boy. And he's just interviews. I mean, I love listening to him when he goes on interviews, post match or whatever, because he just has this sort of enthusiasm that hasn't been media trained out of him. Do you know what I mean? It's like if he's won, he is buzzing like we are as fans, and if he's lost, he is devastated like we are.
Yeah.
And it's really refreshing, particularly as you said, maybe the more elder statesmen, they sort of toe the party line a little bit, so it's really refreshing to see that. And I mean, you've done a few of the boys, isn't it? Like even the bulldog, God bless his soul.
Oh mate, yeah,
good old
special
Jim.
bloke.
He's a special man.
He's class. Like I was filming with him last week. Actually, we were doing a video, like a branded video for Bud Light for the Euros, and he's just a funny bloke, but just such a lovely man to work alongside as well. Like some people, like when you ask, because we've got like lines we've got to hit, and they've got to be nailed on to hit the brand and stuff, and he's happy to do it until he gets it perfectly. Lovely guy, and like just he'll do a drill first time, and you're bloody confident he's going to hit the top bin. And from my perspective, you're like every time he does, it's just views. So grateful to have him.
Yeah, that's true. He does, isn't he? I mean, he's great on Soccer AM and stuff. He's a top boy as well. And I obviously we do a lot of stuff with Jack, mate, and obviously he's worked with Jim a few times as well. And he's a top boy. He's just a lovely guy, and we'll get him on eventually. It's like he's got a list. It's like there's a list. People have
man.
You should get on here. Everyone's so busy at the moment, particularly. Although he's very busy. Yeah, and you think with the season finished, people will get but it's not, because it's ramped up now, because you've got the Euros and the golf courses are open. And more than anything. So I always thought it was a bit of an adage when I first. I mean, I've been doing this channel for like a year. We've had probably about 75 some like ex-pros on, and I always thought it was like a bit of a piss take that they always play golf, but they all do play golf. Like literally all the time. It's ridiculous. Like even the older players even more so. Like bloody Frank McAvenny, literally every time he's on the course, it's ridiculous. He either phones me, he's either on the course, he's just leaving, or he's just about to start. And so you see, if he's had a good session rather, then obviously you'll get a good call from him on the way back. To be happy. But anyway, let's talk about Reading, right? So let's talk about Reading, because Reading's this weird team that and I think you and me have decided it's around the Pardew era that this sort of hatred. It's a really weird thing, isn't it? Because it's like it makes no sense geographically. It's just one of those teams. At least, we don't like Sheffield United. That's after the Carlos Tevez debacle.
I was wondering where that was.
Even more so when it's like even so we had when Neil Warnock came with Cardiff last season, or maybe when they went down last season, I think. Even the West Ham fans were still chanting there's only one Carlos Tevez. It's like that's like
you just love
like 15 years ago.
So petty, aren't they? They're just hang on to anything and just make something out of it. It's class.
Although I think the best news of the transfer window so far, it's only been open for one day, is the retirement of Glenn Murray. I'll be honest.
Really? Not like him?
Oh, Glenn Murray. I have a rogue. I'll show you. This is my rogues gallery. There's my rogues gallery. These are the three players, right? They just wound me up. They always scored against us.
That's so good.
Dave Kitson,
Jimmy
It was always Glenn Murray, whether it was at Reading or at Brighton.
Yeah,
he might not have scored for six months. He's playing West Ham. Put your money on him scoring.
Yeah,
and old Jimmy, as we said, Jimmy kept when putting up the socks and Jack Collison pushing him over.
Yeah,
there's something about. I don't know what it is. Dave Kitson as well. How orange was that hair? It's ridiculous.
Oh, perfect, wasn't it?
Great man, though. Yeah, I mean, he's one of those players. I think there's a lot of them where I call them bastard players. When they're playing for your side, they're brilliant. But when they're playing for anyone else, you hate them. Great
way of putting it.
Yeah, like Marko Arnautovic. When he was playing for us, we loved him, but we hate him at the moment. He might be back. He'll be in England. He'll be in England tomorrow because obviously Austria are playing England, aren't they? God, you could just imagine it happening. But it's just something about Reading, isn't it? Something about Reading. And you said it probably stems from when we took Pardew away. I think that's probably it.
Yeah, I think we were doing something nice under Pardew. We were kind of progressing on nicely. He got us promoted. I think we were second at the time.
Something like that, yeah.
Second, we were absolutely flying. And then, fair enough. He wants to go to West Ham, and you can begrudge him with that, bigger side than us. And But yeah, like you say, like fans in general just cling on to that kind of stuff, and it makes it, that storylines are what make football, aren't they? So
Yeah,
it's all good.
Well, I mean, even say, as you said, like when it developed, and as we had, we said like Jimmy when he was putting his socks out, and Jack Collish, even how many years that he's on, 6 years onwards, it's still that needle.
Yeah,
and I love it. I think as you said, it's just such a, and particularly for you guys, you said you haven't really got like a rivalry geographically anywhere. So at least there's, you never know. You never know. Next year, could be your season.
Yeah, you never know. But it's the first time I've looked at the Championship and thought, you know what? Like, there's no standout team. Like teams like Norwich. Who else went up this year? No, Norwich. Who
Watford.
went up second? Watford. Yeah, Watford. Oh my god! When Watford came down, it's like the classic thing. They come down and they're like, okay, Ismail Assar, he'll go. Ben Foster, I know he didn't play near the end of the season. He'll go. Cabasella, he'll go, and they all just stayed. And you're just like, hang on a minute. This team was like barely got relegated from the Premier League. Like, Ismail Assar, like I think most teams in the Premier League would have taken him. It's a decent squad player, and he's just absolutely ripping up the Championship. You kind of think, this is where the money of the Premier League just creates that like massive gap between the bottom of the Prem and the top of the Champ. It's like huge. And then you play Norwich, like players like Emi Buendia. Yeah, like, he was creating like I think he had created the third most chance in the Prem behind like a KDB and one other. I can't remember who it was, but he did the exact same this season. It was unbelievable. Pookie obviously knows where the back of the net is. Cantwell, but this season, obviously the teams that have come down. You thought West Brom, like they had a Championship squad this season. Let alone if like Mateus Pereira,
but he'll go. He will actually go. I think Pereira will go.
And then you've got other teams like
Fulham.
They're proverbial yo-yo team.
Yeah,
but
and Sheffield United. But I think Sheffield United, they're just good. I just think with them, I mean, I just don't like Sheffield United, but I just think it's. I think for them as well. I just don't think they just didn't have the talent. I think the first year, I think they talk about the 12th man and stuff like that. The crowd, It's no coincidence those three teams all have been in grounds of about 30,000 maximum. Three of them. Where they're used to having to have the tightness and the intimidating factor of the home team, and they haven't had that this season. And I think that's played a huge part on it. So next year, I mean, as you said, I think it's wide open next year, man. It's totally wide open next year.
No, it really is.
That's what I love about the Championship. That's why I think people love it.
You'd never get anyone who predicts a top six right in the Championship, and you think that the Premier League, I know that you've kind of bucked that trend this year, but like most years you could nail on the top six every single year. So it's good. And fingers crossed that we are here, but we are becoming one of those teams like Ipswich. You're like, absolutely, you think of Ipswich, you think, Championship seed. I know they went down, but like there's teams where you just like in your mind just categorize, and Reading are quickly becoming like a nailed on Championship team. So we need to do something about that.
You'll have one of those seasons where you're either mid-table obscurity or you'll run away with the league.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry to interrupt the episode, but I'd just like to say that today's episode is actually sponsored by our friends at Manscaped. So thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring the episode. You'll see here, they've sent me some stuff to show you as well. So your balls will thank you. All fantastically designed and packaged. I love it. I love a bit of packaging. But the whole idea of Manscaped is to make sure that down there is all trimmed up as well as up here. That's all. Simple concept. But here's the main thing. It comes with here's the main boy, the Lawnmower 3.0. There we go. With a little light I've just noticed as well, so you can do Morse code in between. So not SOS, but to make sure you know where you can see what you're doing, particularly if it's in the shower or whatnot as well. It's all skin safe technology. So the idea is, look at that. Oh, smoothing a baby's bottom. Back of my hand is, so it means you don't nick the old. Comes with a free guard as well. You can get interchangeable blades as well to make sure that it's all nice and hygienic, which is good. What else we got here? I'm gonna look at this properly. We've got some ball toner, crop reviver, for an anytime pick me up. Spritz your goods once or twice, always twice, always double dip, and let air dry. So I'll make sure I lock the back door for that. Look, not the back door, the bathroom door. lock the bathroom door and let the old boys dry. more berries than twig. Oh, I suppose the twig has to dry as well, but just mainly the berries. What else we got here? We've got ball deodorant, crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant. Yeah, give that one a go as well. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to this. What else we got? It comes with free gifts as well. So we've got here a pair of boxer shorts, anti-chafing boxing shorts, and sweat wicking fibers prevent anti-chafing and swamp crotch. We all don't like swamp crotch, do we? So that's good. It comes with a free bag as well to put it all in, all leather. Proper stuff that is, and it comes with these mats as well, which are basically newspaper type mats made of old school like newspaper paper. So the idea is you put this on the floor when you do the whole when you do the old what's it called, shaving, that's the one, and then you can scrunch them up, not the balls, I meant the newspaper, and put it in the bin. So it's all good. Anyway, if you want to get involved, description, all the information is in the description below, in the video description. Hit the link. Because you're part of the My Hammers 11 community, you get 20% off by putting the promo code in the description, plus free shipping. That ain't bad, is it? Anyway, get involved, and back to the video. Cheers, guys. Or
Bye-bye.
you'll run away with the league.
Yeah.
You know, the seasons you've gone up, you've basically just run away with it, and that hasn't really happened much for the last couple of this season. There's Norwich can't, but it was sort of close-ish, but no one sort of went right. Okay, they're sort of up by March.
But
I just think it's great, and I love it. I mean, my best seasons, my most exciting until last season, but it was in the Championship because you're playing loads of teams. We were
winning games as well.
Yeah, different teams, different away days. Different guys you never heard of, and chances are you've got more chance of winning these games. Anyone can beat anyone at the Championship. But yeah, no, it's good fun. It's good fun. We'll see what happens. We'll hopefully renew our rivalry somehow. As long as it's not the other way. As long as we don't go down and you stay in the Championship. As long as it's that way, I'm more bothered about that.
Yeah, much more likely. Fingers crossed.
Right, so just to prove that we're all the same, doesn't matter what badge we've got underneath. We're all human beings. What we like to do is try to put together an 11, a combined 11 of players who have played for both clubs. Ironically, the first ever time I did this, we did it with a Sunderland fan, and there's been no goalkeeper who played the first position.
Really?
There has been no. So the first episode, first position, we had to put Jimmy Walker in because he was like a coach at Sunderland or something like that. But actually, I think this one's not too bad. And actually, a few of them we've had on the channel already.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I reckon we've had a few of them on the channel already, and a few of them we'll have hopefully on soon. So, what we try and do is we'll go for a position, see if you've got anyone. I've got a team anyway, so we'll see. And if there's any conflab, we'll come up with just I basically let you win usually, unless it's someone I like. So we'll try and keep it reasonably simple. So we'll start off in goal. Okay?
Yeah, go on. Nailed on, surely.
In goal. Well, actually, there are two, but there is a nailed on one. So the second one is actually he's coming on the channel very, very soon. It's Steve Maltone, the Australian goalkeeper. That's probably past your time.
Yeah, go on. You'll have to give me a bit of info.
Australian goalkeeper. He only played once. I think he only made one appearance for us, and it was probably around I want to say about 96. I should have had it all up. I reckon about 96 he played for us, and then he went to the Australian guy, top guy actually. He literally emailed me today, so he's coming on.
Oh, nice.
He made 14 appearances for Reading, league appearances, not including cup, in the between 97 and 1999. There we go.
Yeah, a little bit before my time. How would it be?
A little bit more forward time. I know. Well, that doesn't bode well for some of these selections. But I mean, there is only one person I think who's we've had on the channel.
Yeah.
The most laid back man in football.
Yeah.
We've had him on the channel. He was a lovely guy. He was sweating buckets because he works for ESPN on East Coast. He lives in the East Coast of America, and his aircon. It was like mid-July, and his aircon had broke. But bless him, it's the man. I loved him, Mr. Shaka Hislop.
Yeah, what a guy!
It's got to be Shaka. What a guy!
Great keeper as well.
Fantastic keeper. And just a lovely bloke. And it's something which I think, and I mention every time Shaka's name comes up when we interview people about, his name comes up to about goalkeepers, and we talk about the difference in football and how it's changed and developed. He epitomised sort of my my childhood. I mean, I've been sporting at West Ham for a few years before then, but every Friday, I used to live in Loughton, in Essex, and every Friday, if West Ham are playing at home, Shaka I used to work at Safeways when I was a youngster, and he used to do his Friday big shop.
Did he?
He used to do his Friday big shop on about 5:30, every Friday, and you'd see him because he was so tall. His head would be above the things. But yeah, I used to change my shifts to make sure I was working on a Friday. Great. But he was a top man, Shaka.
That's class as well that you come full circle to get him on your podcast. That's
it was funny when we was talking about it. It's like, oh my god, yeah, I remember, because at that time it was like literally in Loughton. It was like Tottenham. It's sort of like 20-minute drive from the Tottenham ground, which was run by Chigwell, or about 20 minutes away from Cheddle Heath at West Ham's training ground. So there was sort of like this mixture, and there was nothing more exciting as a kid walking down the road and seeing a footballer.
Yeah.
I know you're a bit. I can imagine you're a bit more blasé. I'm a bit more blasé.
No. I was when I was a kid. Fully relate to that.
Just seeing, and it's almost like sounds like an Alan Partridge sketch. But I remember going to Woolworths and seeing Paul Kitson buying a big bag of Pick and Mix, and it was like the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's unbelievable. So you don't think they exist in normal life. It's like when you're a kid and you see your teacher out in public. You're like, what? You don't live in the school?
Yeah. Or the worst one is when like you're old enough to go for a drink.
Yeah,
and like an old teacher of yours, say you come back from uni for like the summer holiday, and you're in a pub and there's and like your old school teacher's there having a pint, and you're thinking,
it just doesn't look right.
No, I don't. You still call him sir. I still used to. It's weird, isn't it? But you had this still respect for teachers. It's great that people do, but right. Yeah, we'll put Shaka in. Right, there we go. Shaka's in. Let's move there. Okay, right. Shaka is in. Oh, I loving it. Oh, it's all high budget. It's not just the mic. He's branched out for a Microsoft PowerPoint license. Right. Okay. So what we're trying to do is we'll go defenders rather than say positions, because sometimes you have to be a bit sort
flexible.
Of. So I'm going to go. So the first defender I'm going to suggest is another guy who's been on the channel. Another guy's been on the channel.
Your name dropping now, mate.
I know. You did Declan Rice, Jimmy Bullard. I worked with Jimmy last week. It's my turn. My turn. So it is Anton Ferdinand.
Okay, yeah, fair. I think there's a theme running here. There's maybe one or two players that back to trend, but usually we get your. I wouldn't say not hand-me-downs, but we get the players who've had their prime of their career at you, and we're there kind of coming to the tail end when they arrive at us. So
probably. But I think that's just the nature of, as you said, we was in a league higher than yours at the time, weren't it? So there is. I'm thinking there's. Actually, you're probably right. I'm looking at the team. I was thinking. What? No, it is. Yeah,
a couple. Yeah.
I was going to say one. I was going to say one guy, but actually, no. I think he actually played better when he left you. To be honest,
yeah, he did.
It was the other way around. But I mean, Anton Ferdinand. I mean, I can't remember how many games he played for you. Let's have a good look. He played
one season, was he?
2014. So literally in your 2014 to 2016.
I was watching the club. Had a season ticket then. I mean, solid centre half, but didn't light it up. Good player nonetheless. But I don't like think of him glowingly in a Reading shirt. I can't lie.
No, I was just reading. Before he was at Reading, he signed him on a free transfer, which is always a great sign. Yeah. But before then, he played for Police United.
Oh, it's one of them. Did he go to? Is that in Thailand?
Bangkok. Yes. Yeah. He was unveiled as the Police United signing in a press conference, and he said that QPR teammate Jay Boothroyd, who played for another team, convinced him to move. So there we go. That's great, isn't it?
Those never end well, do they? Like, no. I'm trying to think of one of those transfers where a player moves over to Southeast Asia and it actually goes well and lasts more than 1 year. I literally can't think of one.
I can't think of anyone. I think it's the place you go, isn't it, to get? It's Southeast Asia or China, anywhere. It's like you don't go anywhere and they redevelop their career, do they? I mean, it tends to be they just go there for the payday and that's it. Colton Cole. Remember Colton Cole going to Malaysia for as
I think
well.
he retired there.
Yeah, well, he did.
Yeah.
Then I think we got him back because we needed a striker as usual, and he turned up and he said, "Yeah, I'll do it." Right, okay, that's the first defender. Any defenders that you want to throw in the mix, Al?
Yeah, it depends if you class. I suppose Matt Upson. Matt Upson is someone I would think has got to be nailed on in this 11. Like,
Yeah,
he had a good run with us. But obviously, height of his career, arguably with you boys. Decent centre half. And you think if he plays for England, then I mean, he must have something about him.
yeah. No, I'd say that. To be honest, I think you're right there. I mean, Matt Upson, I actually put him down. I had him down on my sheet. I mean, centre back wise, I think it's probably one of the best positions. I think we had here.
Yeah,
Anton, we put Upson. You had Reece Oxford for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah. I was thinking whether we were going to classify Reece as a centre defensive midfielder. I suppose he kind of did a little bit. He didn't really play for us at centre back. I don't think. I think he played more in kind of like a holding midfield role.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll just maybe we'll put them in because
flexible.
I'm thinking. I just realised I might not have a centre mid. We've only got one, so yeah, actually good idea. And another centre back called Adrian Whitbread. Again, a bit before your time, but he's been on the channel as well. He's a top boy, Adrian. He's incredible. He's coaching. He's a coach now. He's doing sort of a summer school thing now, but he coached in like some crazy places like in South America and Costa Rica and all these amazing. And there's a lot of people like that we interviewed a guy called Pete Butler who used to play for us in the early 90s, and he's currently, you'll love this, he's currently the Liberian national team manager.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, and he lives in George Weah, because George Weah is the president of Liberia.
Yeah.
He lives in his complex.
Quality.
How cool is that? When he phoned me, he's like, "Yeah, I've got to make sure." I was like, "When can we do it?" He said, "I need to make sure my battery's charged on my computer." And I thought, it might be. I didn't realize he's in Liberia. I thought he was in Yorkshire or something like that. And he's like there. He's got his t-shirt, a beer in hand. Oh, it's just mental. It's so funny how people. So we'll put. So we got Hislop, we got Matty Upson, and Ferdinand. Obviously, Matt Upson was part of that team which went down. They were too good to go down on 42 points with David James and Joe Cole and Jermaine Defoe and
ridiculous side, yeah.
Didn't get it. And yeah, Matt Upson, who was actually the captain, but Scott Parker, they'd say, was the captain, who ended up winning Footballer's Writer of the Year that year, I believe. Yeah, that year. Yeah, despite the fact we'd gone down. Right, okay. Now left back.
Might need a hand here, mate. I'm looking
left
away.
Left back. I've got one. I think he was only on loan at you guys. He was only on loan at us, but I think he'll do. Again, another England international, Wayne Quinn.
Okay, yeah, fair. I'm just trying to. Yeah, I'll go with it, mate. You might again. You need to do it.
I think I said the wrong person. I did.
Oh, you know what?
Wayne Bridge.
Wayne
Bridge. I meant Wayne Bridge.
When he said Wayne, I was like,
Wayne Quinn also played for West Ham, but not to the most variety. He says as Wayne Bridge. I'm going to get pelters in the comments, but I don't care. Yeah, Wayne Bridge. Obviously, he played for us on loan. He was at you on loan.
Yeah, he's on.
Signed for you, did he?
Yeah, he did sign for us. Sorry, yeah, 1 year. He was only there for 1 year. That's probably why I was thinking it.
Yeah,
he retired at us. Actually,
yeah, he did. Yeah, subsequently retired. Yeah. There we go. That's it. Another England international.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah, we like that. We used to get those players. I call them. I used to call it a bookend club. We'd get them at the beginning or at the end, never usually in the middle. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we went through a whole period of getting we had Stuart Pearce, and then we had Nigel Winterburn, we had Rufus Brevitt, Chris Powell, all when they're literally coming to the end of their career, and they sort of come to us for the last seasons. And actually, to be fair, they all did a decent job. Right, we'll put Wayne Bridge now right back. Now, I reckon you might struggle.
Go on,
right back. So there's another one. Again, he was on loan to you from us.
Okay.
Mid-90s, I want to say. There seems to be a theme. I wonder who was the manager at the time, because there seems to be a lot of West Ham players. I think actually Jimmy Quinn was the manager at the time. He might have been around there. So who was a former West Ham player? He was playing manager for a while. Kenny Brown.
Okay. No, it's gone straight off my head, I'm afraid, mate. I'm trying
no,
to.
It's fine. No, it's fine. Kenny Brown, yeah, he played 5 times for you on loan from us, in '96. So, again, top bloke, Kenny is. Again, had him on the channel. But yeah, Kenny's been on the channel. We'll put him in because I just think he was a good right back. He was like an understudy right back. So we had a guy called Tim Breaker who was playing right back at the time, who was a bit like Vladimir Sufal, sort of dependable, rock solid. You're not gonna get him out of the team because he just always is a 7 out of 10 man. But Kenny, his dad used to play for West Ham as well, like in the 60s, like Bobby Moore and people like that. So he's always this sort of West Ham connection. He's currently, I believe, coach at Millwall. So there we go.
How's that going down?
Yeah, well, I mean, Billy Bonds was manager at Millwall once, so it doesn't really matter. It's just we make it happen when we want to make it happen. Right, okay, we've managed. We got a back four.
Back four, yeah, nice.
That's good. Right, midfield. Right, do you want to kick off? Anyone, pick anyone. We'll throw Reece Roxford in there. We'll put him in there because he's in there. Right, Reece is in.
Reece is playing centre mid. I suppose we could put Hayden Mullins alongside him.
Do you know what? He's the next person on my team sheet, Hayden Mullins. He is. Do you know what? And you appreciate this, obviously. There's certain players when you talk to players, and obviously the whole idea of my show is you pick your West Ham 11. So it's like people you play with or people you supported with if you're a West Ham fan. And there's certain players who always get picked by the players but never the fans.
Oh, really?
Hayden Mullins is one of them. Those sort of unfashionable 7 out of 10 guys who do all the donkey work to make the good players look really good.
Yeah,
Hayden Mullins is one of them.
Yeah,
we've had somebody who might crop up in the channel in a thing in a minute. They literally put him like right back if they could get him in the team. And I remember we interviewed Bobby Zamora and we said the same thing. And I said, look, why does no one pick Hayden Mullins? Because no one understands football. They don't understand the fact that you need these players. It's not all about I might score a goal, but how did I get the ball? Hayden might have done, a strong tackle and passed it on to me and stuff like that. And I think he's great, Hayden Mullins. Isn't he? Yeah. He's somewhere now. He's I don't know where he was now. I was looking. He was looking. God bless Wikipedia. Where would we be without Wikipedia? Seriously.
Is he Watford? Colchester. Colchester United manager now.
Colchester United.
He was Watford, wasn't he, last year? When Pearson got sacked.
Yeah, he took over, didn't he?
Yeah.
Interim, and he's at Colchester. Do you know that's fair play? Great ground, Colchester on the bang on the A12. It is bang on the A12. Just before the zoo. If you see it before you've missed the zoo. If you see Colchester Stadium, you've missed the turn up for the zoo, people. It's not just about football; it's a consumer sort of show.
Yeah, really useful.
Well, it is. It's just all part and parcel of the service, really. So we'll put Oxford. I'd say Oxford and Mullins. That would really short that defence. That's for sure.
Yeah, solid.
Not
much creativity going on, but we might get that later on.
We might get it later on. I mean, that's how we're going so far. I mean, we're getting there. Right. Okay. Let's go. Let's go for the rest of the midfield. Anyone do you want to throw in?
A player I really want in there, and I don't know if he'll make the squad because he didn't play too many games for your boys, but Joby McAnuff.
Do you know what? That's a great shout. A great shout, Joby McAnuff. I've put him in. He's in my team.
Is he? Nice.
A fun fact about Joby. We did quizzes on the show, and one of the quizzes we did was like Family Fortunes one, and it was the last 10 players to wear the number 9 shirt for West Ham, and he was one of those 10 players to wear the number in the last 10 players to wear the. It was a real shame with Joby because we signed him. We signed Adam Noland, and we signed Ria Coker, all from Wimbledon at the same time. Pards brought them all in, and he had a bit about him, didn't he? He just recently retired, didn't he? Obviously, he was at Orient, weren't he? Manager, he's retired now properly, but top boy McAnuff is, and he was a good lad at your game, wasn't
he? He's one of those players. He if you had to think about like who I most align with as a Reading fan, he'd follow the kind of his time at the club. Like he was superb for us. Like tricky left-sided player, but very right-footed, but always found a way to get the ball on his right foot. It's a bit one of them. It's just like what he's going to do, but stopping him is another thing. And he's always had loads of tricks. And I remember when we lost to Swansea in the playoff final, that biggest worry going home from London that day was like, we're going to lose McAnuff, aren't we? We're going to lose McAnuff. It was like, not only are we not in the Prem, but McAnuff's going to leave because I bloody loved McAnuff. And Yeah, I think he stayed for a couple more.
Yeah, we were the same. Remember we lost our first ever playoff, and it was like we played Crystal Palace, and it was at Cardiff, and having to drive back from Cardiff, and then everyone was like, "Oh God, we had the same thing, but with Michael Carrick." We're like, "Oh,
player,
that's it. He's off.
Yeah,
Carrick, and he was. To be fair, he was.
Yeah,
he gave us one season in the Championship. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
But, he left. But yeah, Joey McAnuff. Yeah, I mean, we need some tricksters in this team now.
Yeah, in fairness,
we've got quite a solid defense. Defensive midfield too. So we'll put McAnuff in. He's in. Right.
Nice.
Okay. Let's play one more in midfield. Any ideas? Anyone you want to throw in?
I mean, it depends really where we're going to put Michail Antonio, because I know him. I know him as a right-sided midfielder when he was at us. That's the reason why he left Reading. Like, I mean, it's an absolute shambles of a decision to let him leave the club in the first place. He literally was going out on loan to any and every Championship club you could think of. And we had McAnuff and Jimmy Kebe in the side at the time as our wingers, and he couldn't displace either of them. I can't remember who our manager was at the time, but for good reason. Like Kebe and McAnuff are class players, but equally you had this player like Antonio coming through the ranks, and everyone at the club was understanding of his ability, but it was like there was no opportunity for him to get into the team. So we went out on loan everywhere, and I remember we went to Forest. It was unbelievable at Forest, and yeah, it was kind of like he needs to leave the club. So whenever he speaks about Reading, it's always kind of in a negative light, and you can't blame him because ultimately, we held him back in his career, and since he's left us, he's done brilliantly at like West Ham. So
he's one of those players. I think with Antonio. I mean, I that's why I love players like Antonio and Jamie Vardy and people like that who made their way through. They've literally worked all the way up from Hackney Marshes to Old Trafford. And he's not like some 10-year-old kid who gets napped up by one of the greedy six and stays in the academy. And then, they didn't have done the hard yards. Antonio has done the hard yards. I think that's why. And at the moment he's playing up front. I'm similar to you. I prefer him on the wing.
Do you really?
Yeah. Part of the reason is, or not necessarily, or if we play we tend to play sort of like a one, like it's like 4-2-3-1 formation. Yeah. And if we could, I'd prefer him on the right side of that three, just because I think. No, I mean he's great. He's great up top. There's no, he's a handful. But for me, particularly, the old left fullbacks are a lot smaller than the centre backs, and I think he could really. I mean, there's a couple of times this season I'm thinking Everton, Yeremina, basically he manhandled him the whole game. That's the only time I've really seen that happen. Tyrone Mings, he's a big lad. He can hold him up, but he's not going to have someone like Lucas Digne is not going to have a chance against him. And so And he still can do that sort of pacey role. He's not a striker. He hasn't got that striker's instinct, which you don't. You sort of you develop. You can't teach exactly. We've hit the crossbar. I think we've hit the post 23 times this season, and probably about 15 of them are Antonio's. If half of them had gone in, we'd be in the Champions League. I've always said if we had a 2018 Arnautovic up front, we'd have been in the Champions League this year.
Who would you play up top though instead of Antonio?
Well, I'd have had Arnautovic. Oh, shots fired! But I would. He's for me, Michail Antonio was the perfect foil to the Moyes setup. The way we set up the team. We need a target man up front who's a nasty bastard who will basically just run and intimidate the defenders, who could hold it up. He's got a turn of pace. I mean, Antonio is the worst footballer in the world. He's brilliant, but he doesn't know what he's going to do next. So how can his teammates, but simply how can the defenders know what he's going to do next? You know what I mean? But you can't teach pace, and he's got pace and power, and he's a brilliant guy, and he will be our top Premier League striker of all time. He's one behind. He's second. Wow, he's joint really second now. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he was nowhere until the last 2 seasons. Top is Di Canio. He scored 49 goals for West Ham in the Premier League.
Then no one higher than that.
No, then it's Mark Noble and Antonio both on 48.
Wow.
And to be honest, until 2 seasons ago, Antonio was like he'd only scored 28. He scored 10 and two lots of tens in the last 2 seasons. So that's put him back up there, and so he'll do it next season, no doubt. But he's been there a fair while at West Ham, and he's played right back. He's had to play right wing and right full back. But they will put Michail Antonio in because I just think he's
nice.
And he's one of those guys. We talk about football. I think sometimes football I find a little bit sterilised now. They're all very professional.
Yeah.
And he's got a personality about him, so that's why I have to put him in.
Guy.
So that's good. So we can put McAnuff on the left because he's left foot anyway. So left Antonio, right? Okay. Now up front, okay. We could have put. I'm just looking at my notes, right? We could have put Luke Chadwick in.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, big fan Luke Chadwick, like Luke. We could have put Ray Houghton in because Ray Houghton played once for West Ham. And played a lot more for Reading than West Ham. Who else we got? I'm trying to look through. We put about right. I think we've pretty got everyone we need. Right up front. What do you think?
Yeah, we're slim pickings.
Well, there is. I think from your.
All right, is it okay? That's the way I'm looking at it. Sam Baldock.
Sam Baldock. I rated Sam Baldock. I liked him. I liked Sam Baldock. He was my type of player. It's quick hit, quick winger. Quick forward. He was always nippy. Him and Nicky Maynard. We had both of them. It's like, I quite liked him. Never really sort of next level. Do you know what I mean? He was a good.
He struggled at us. He's really struggled at us. But the promise was there, but he's not really delivered this season. When we needed a striker to step in, we had like Yaku Mate, who's not particularly a striker, but he was out. And then Lucas Zhao was out for a little while, and Sam Baldock was our third, fourth choice striker, and it's kind of like, he needs some goals here, and maybe little things like that knock-on effects of why we didn't reach the playoffs in the end. But
well, we've all. That's a great thing. It's the same as us. It's like we, I think because we've won bugger all. We always have. That's what I love about West Ham fans. It's probably the same with you guys. It's like the sliding doors moments. What could be? What could have been? What could have been if Hayden Mullins hadn't got sent off again with Liverpool the week before the FA Cup final with Luis Garcia? We'd have won the FA Cup. What if Declan Rice hadn't got injured this season? The last 6 games we'd be in the Champions League. It's so with you. What if we didn't have to put Sam in? Bless him. We had him and Nicky Maynard at the same time. Who were similar-esque type players at the time. They were both nippy forwards. And I'm gonna go back in the ages a little bit.
Go on.
And one, I think, because there's 2 people I could. Well, there's 3, but I'm gonna suggest 2. We could have had Les Ferdinand. Yeah. We've had Anton. Could have had Les.
Nice.
But I think the 2 people, I think they're synonymous with Reading and West Ham. The first one is a guy called Trevor Morley.
Okay.
Trevor Morley was I think he must have played for you sort of mid-90s. It's very similar mid-90s. It's all about the mid-90s, but it makes sense when I say the last player. So Trevor Morley, he was an absolute legend at West Ham. And he scored an absolute shed load of goals. He went to you guys. I think he played 3 or 4 years at your gaff. Must be 80 appearances, 35 goals, something like that. So he was a old school battering ram centre forward. Do you know what I mean? Hold him up, he'd hold it ball, he'd play the team in. He played about 190 appearances for us, 60 goals. So what was quite unusual with Trev, he's now in Norway. He does Sky or the whatever it is in Norway. He does their commentary. Okay. Doesn't speak it, but they talk to him in Norwegian. He gives the answers in English.
Really?
Which I think is brilliant. So funny. But what he used to do was he'd always play for every pre-season, for 3 or 4 pre-seasons. He would go to Brann in Norway and basically be on loan for the pre-season. So he'd play like half a dozen games for the Norwegian league, and then he'd come back in the summer for the proper pre-season in the playing for, but like on it because he's already played 6 or 7. He's like teams who play the Europa League qualifiers in July, and they're like flying by the. He used to do that, bless him. And the one season he didn't was his last season at West Ham because I think Harry told him he couldn't do it or something like that, and then he went to Reading. But I'm gonna put Trevor Morley in. The reason I'm gonna put Trevor Morley in is because the last person I'm gonna put in is another one around that time, a guy called Jimmy Quinn.
Yeah,
player manager at Reading. played many times at West Ham as well. So, there's this sort of West Ham there, so although the hatred sort of came about 2005, 2006, something like that, before then, there was a lot of love between West Ham and Reading because of Jimmy Quinn,
clearly.
Trevor Morley, Kenny Brown, all these sort of really sort of good professionals. And I think they would do a job in this team particularly.
Hard working team, this, to be fair.
It's a hard work, but I think that's what people like, isn't it? It's like, I know old Big Sam always talks about the West Ham way and takes the piss out of us, but the West Ham way is just basically people having a go. Same as everyone else, it's not really a way. It's the same as the Reading way. It doesn't matter who puts the shirt on, as long as they graft it. It's not their fault they've been picked. The managers pick them. If they're not technically good enough, it's the manager's fault, not this kid's fault. But as long as he has a go, he's and I think it would be a good team with them two up front. Jimmy Quinn, he's a hilarious man. He told me a story when we was when they just signed. There's like a hotel in Waltham Abbey where they used to put all the players up when they'd just been signed, and he was there. And Gazza was there as well, staying it there because it's near Tottenham as well. And Five Bellies was there, and Jimmy would have to go round the kitchen entrance because if you went through the front door, the bar was right there, and if Gazza saw you, you weren't going. You literally had to sit there and drink all night. So it's brilliant, absolutely. And that's what I love about talking to all the old players, just the stories, because obviously they didn't have to worry about social media. They have to worry about posting one faithful tweet, and that's it. They've lost 2-3 million pounds in things. It's like we've had Razor, and Razor's told us stories about when he got arrested at a Christmas party in Romford and got banned from Romford town centre, a 2-mile radius around Romford.
Really?
And Chadwell Heath is 1.5 miles away, so he couldn't go training because he was. So Harry had to get him to change it to 1 mile so he could get in and get to training. And Sinclair, they used to get pissed on a Tuesday night. Oh, it's the old days, man. Well, I mean, we've managed it. We've managed it, and subs as well, because obviously we could put, as you said, we could put Adrian Whitmer, we could Sam Baldock, we could put Les Ferdinand, Luke Chadwick, Ray Houghton. I think that we've done too bad there.
I mean, it's decent at 11. I was when I was doing a bit of research for it, I had 9 names, and then we've used them all up, have we?
That's good. Well, that's good. That's it. We figured it out, man. We figured it out. It's better than, as I said, when we had we had Matt from Sunderland, and we had to put a coach in, which was just defeated the purpose of the whole thing. But no, we've done it, man. We've done it. Aaron, absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much,
mate. Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good, man. And obviously, we'll put the link to the travel podcast and stuff like that in there as well, so people can have a listen. Obviously, you've got Saunders, big West Ham fan as well. So support obviously the West Ham boys when we can. And when he's not, he's everywhere, isn't he, old Saunders? Christ, he's all over the bloody place.
Around the world, mate.
Formula E stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, literally. Mental. I try and pin him down for like 1 day a week to do these pods, and usually it's like, oh, I'm coming back from here, so I've got a day here, and it's very much like, he grafts, man. He works hard. Yeah, it's good, man. It shows it pays off, though, doesn't it? It shows it pays off, man. Yeah, exactly.
And so thank you everyone for watching. Subscribe, like, all that type of stuff. And for myself and from Alex, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands, get those jabs. Alex is far too young to get his jab yet.
Yeah, soon, in a month, I reckon.
Oh, there we go. I'm double dosed.
Yeah. Have you, mate?
Yeah, it's not an age thing.
No,
the lockdown body has not happened.
No,
so but hey, I get double dosed. So I'm done. I'm done.
Mate, you're laughing.
I'm on the beach. I'm like a beach whale. I'll be like a beach whale. You lot will be stuck inside. I'll be double dosed. But take care, everyone. Stay safe. Come on, you Irons. What does the Reading lot say? Was it come on, you Royals? Come on, you R's. Come on, you R's. Oh, it's quite similar. Anyway, take care, everyone. Much love.